Okay, we're on.
We're on it like a car bonnet.
Ding, ding, ding. Did you watch any of the episodes?
Not full episodes, but I've watched all the clips.
Okay,
I have.
good.
I think when I want to go and watch the episodes, you hadn't uploaded them.
No? Oh,
Have you? Because you know when you put the little pre-clip.
yeah, previous.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of like the Llanas. I saw the lead one.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen a full episode yet.
Okay. That's cool. So, welcome to a new episode of Dupl+s. Today we have a special guest. It'd be probably our third guest for the second season. Her name is Maria.
Hello.
She's a model, singer, performer, and I think that's an actress.
Well,
No.
performer comes under.
Performer, yeah, exactly.
Hairstylist, I guess.
Hairstylist as well. And we're gonna have a good conversation today to get to know her. As part of this project is to humanize the people that are coming here, so I hope you enjoy her story. So Maria, tell me about a bit yourself. Like, where do you come from? Where it all started? Like, if you had to picture me, Maria, little Maria, how would you picture it?
Little Maria grew up. I was born in Liverpool.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I was born in Liverpool. I had a very strong accent.
Uh-huh.
My parents are both Greek.
Yeah.
So I grew up in a Greek cultured household.
Okay.
All our friends around us were Greek. My parents were poor students. Like, I was treated like a little princess though. Like they really looked after me. I'm very grateful for my parents.
Yeah.
And then at the age of 5, we moved to Southampton.
Ah.
So then from there, I had a little sister. She was born when we moved.
Yeah.
And then it all started from my mum putting me into a dance class when I was like 3. And then that's kind of how my whole like performing thing came about. I was always the child that wanted to be at the front when you're sitting with your family. Yeah. I want to show you a dance. I want to make let me sing for you in the school play. I played Mary and Jesus, like from a young age. I think that was always like, my personality was very
out there.
Yeah, I'm an extrovert. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Even though like I like my space, I like but I think
in general,
that was me as a child, 100%.
You know, childs never lie. So when we are children, and that's how we truly are, like our core essence.
Yeah.
And then as we grow older, obviously, we start to dim some parts. But if you want to know how someone is,
as a child.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's what they also say, like, your biggest childhood traumas come out when you're older as well. Like, so I think your childhood, how you were treated, what you experienced, is a big part of who you are now. I think that I agree with that. It's big.
How do you find connecting with your inner child now as an adult? Is it a hard thing, or you find it easy?
I'm really lucky that my parents recorded a lot of my childhood.
Okay.
We had this old video camera, and I'm able to see a lot of memories. I've been told a lot of memories.
Yeah.
I have a bit of like a photographic memory, so I still remember a lot of things from when I was younger.
Yeah.
So I do have very happy memories. I'm really grateful for that. That I still keep now. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like when you really deepen it and you think about what you're like a child.
Yeah.
I am very much like that. Nothing's changed. As little as like my mum used to say, I used to steal my grandma's shoes, like her little heels when I was younger. And I'm obsessed with shoes. Like I love shoes. I like fashion. Like that kind of stuff for me, like, is something I've always been as a child. That doesn't change, I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah.
When did you start doing like music theater? You said 3, but apart from that, when did you start finding as a proper interest?
I've always wanted to perform.
Okay.
Like, I don't remember not wanting to do that. My mum put me in a dance class when I was 3, and I knew then. I wanted to be a dancer.
Yeah.
But it's just always been performing, and then I would go to dance every single evening, apart from one day a week. So I'd go like for 5 to 6 times a week. I'd go to dance, and I grew up basically seeing my dance family more than my actual family.
Yeah.
My mum was like, if you're committing, you're going to miss all the birthday parties, all the family events. And I was like, okay, that's fine.
Oh, so from a young age?
From that age. Every Saturday, I'd be dancing from 9 till 3. And obviously at that age, that's when like your friends organise their birthday parties and you're going to this party and like, let's go around this person's house. I missed all of that. Like, I was committed. And I think that's what my parents knew, like, okay, like, she really did love that. And I loved to do, like, gymnastics and stuff. Like, it was always...
So it wasn't something imposed? It was something you chose to...
No, I think my mum herself really loved the arts as a young girl.
Okay.
And her dad was quite strict.
Yes.
So I think she wanted the opposite of what she had. Because she wasn't allowed, she was very much like, do what you want to do. Like, I'm here to push you in that, because so they were supportive, because it's very natural to be like, no, don't do this, don't do that. So I started the dance, and then when I was at school, I had a singing teacher, and I always knew I could sing. Like, I always sung in the choir. I loved being in the choir at school. Would miss my lunch times to be in the choir and things like that. Oh, wow. And then I had a singing teacher at school, and we did a production of Hairspray, of the musical, and I got a role, and he was like, you should really be doing this as well. Like, you should do musical theatre. Not that I didn't ever think of musical theatre. Like, I loved musical theatre. I was just very big on dance. Yeah. Just dance. Yeah. So then okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I thought you started doing some musical theatre at 3, but it was only dancing.
No, just dance. And don't get me wrong, like, I feel like when you grow up doing dance, we had an acting class here, like, there was a random singing lesson to do, and I would always do the singing lesson, but I'd never envisioned myself being in a musical. I always envisioned myself as like a backing dancer for like a pop star, or like in music videos. And that was the kind of thing I had in my brain. So then the singing teacher was like, okay, musical theatre. And I was like, okay. And then I auditioned for a thing called, I think it was called Youth Music Project, Youth Music Theatre. It's in London, and only like 20 people got in. Okay. And that's when, and I was 16. So that was just finished school before I went to college. Okay. And that's when I was like, okay, that was the first big musical professional thing I went into by auditioning. Yeah. And then we got to perform in London and do the training. Yeah. So I would say that's kind of how I got into that, through the dancing. But then the singing teacher was like, hey, you should go to the singing. Yeah. So yeah, that's, I think, the main bit.
And I guess after so many years, like, being very strict with your training and missing all those parties and all those events, getting to that point was like a big thing, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. I do think, like, even though some people might disagree, but I think it is a discipline. Like, it is hard. It's not an easy career to go, because the things you miss out, like I was saying, like, when I was at uni, for example, if you're in a show, you can't drink alcohol. Like, you're not allowed to live their life in the sense of like going out, partying and doing that, because you are practicing. Your body is your instrument, if that makes sense. Like, I can't be shouting on top of my voice, because the next day if I've got to sing. So I think you give up a lot of stuff around you because you love your passion so much. If that makes sense.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I think it's a big thing to understand that it's not just an easy thing. Oh yeah, let me just go study that. Actually, no, it's hard work and dedication. I think
people misunderstand the all the work behind arts, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Even the hours you put in, even as an artist, anything you do creative, like, there's so much that goes into it that people don't see. And the same with, like, if you put on a show, it's not just the artist, it's the person backstage, the person organising, the person booking the event, the MD, the musical director in the rehearsals, the pianist, like, everything you've got, that they're all together, that's put on that one show, and that all hard work isn't just what you see in that moment, if that makes sense. That's with life, I think, anything.
And so you went to that event in London, and what happened after?
So when I went there, that was in the summer holidays. It was like a summer thing. Yeah. And then I went to college, and I listened to my mum, and I tell her this to this day. I'm like, I regret listening to you. She was like, you do so much dance. When you study at college, study English and psychology and business just to have a backup.
Yeah.
I was like, cool, I'll do that. Didn't end well. I was like, no. So then in my second year, I dropped the 3 subjects. I carried on with English, carried on with dance, but then I picked up performing arts, which is what I would have loved to do from the start.
Yeah.
So then I got my A levels in that, still doing the dancing and stuff. So then the major big point for me then, as a performer, you audition for a big drama school. That was like the thing. You audition for the drama schools in London. There's some in Guildford, just outside of London.
Yeah.
At the time, so this was in 2016, I want to say, just before I went to uni. Back then, being like a plus size girl or curvy girl was a lot harder to get into schools like that, I think.
Okay.
And I feel like that the industry is very different now to what it was then. Yeah. And I feel like that was like my biggest fear. Like I'm not going to be able to do what I want to do because I was curvier or like, because I didn't look like your standard dancer. Yeah. So that's why I really liked musical theatre, because you were able to play a character. There's characters for... There's an older woman, there's a younger girl, there's an old man. Do you know what I mean? Like, and you could play those parts. So then I went and did more musical theatre, and I studied at... I auditioned and got accepted to Chichester University Conservatoire. So then I moved to Chichester and I did a 3-year degree. It was a conservatoire, so it meant that it was all practical work, basically. Like, there was only a few essays we did in the 3 years. And it was nice to be able to... I think I went as a dancer and left as a singer. Does that make sense? So like I had already had the dance background, and I was actually able to really work on the singing background because it just gave me so many opportunities to see what I really like to do. And I thought my passion was like, okay, I really love singing.
I always have said that universities or institutions in general, when you go to study something specific, you think at the beginning, you might think that you're going to study something, just something.
Yeah.
And then it opens all these doors.
Yes.
And then you realize, oh, I actually like this other thing. Oh,
yeah. Because even like at uni, like I didn't know I loved choreography. Yeah. And like we had an opportunity when we put shows as students, we were allowed to choreograph musicals. So instead I thought from like a different perspective. I was like, okay, I don't have to be the dancer. Yeah. I could be the choreographer. Yeah. I could be the director. Yeah. And it gave you the opportunities. But even like in life, I think university for me, like it's not even about the studying. It's just like moving away from home. Yeah. Living on your own, washing your own dishes, like arguing with your housemate over who washed those dishes. Yeah. Like that's something you learn. That's not, I think. So I do think the whole experience not just taught me talent-wise, but taught me life-wise. Just get your stuff together.
I just said dealing with people, man. That's a skill.
Dealing with people,
That's a skill, man.
Because you meet like. I feel like you meet a lot of people at university, especially like you move in with people and you don't know who they are. Different
backgrounds, different 100%. Stories, different.
And you've just got to deal with it.
Yes.
And you've got to learn. Yeah. And if you're not a people person, you're screwed. So I think that's why I just think university like taught you everything. It taught me a lot. It did. I'm really lucky my uni wasn't too far from home. Yeah. So Chichester's only like an hour away.
Yeah. You went to Chichester?
Yeah. So then I wasn't too far. I could easily come home if I wanted to. I'm having a bad day, Mum. I remember this one time when I was at uni, we were all having like, it was near Christmas. We were all just feeling like, ugh. And I was like, okay, guys, we're going back to my place. Oh. So luckily one of the girls had a car. Yeah. We drove I called my mum and I was like, Mum, just to let you know, 6 girls are coming home. Please, can you feed us? We're poor uni students. Like, please, can you like make us some food? She's like, okay. Luckily, my sister was away at the time. My dad was away for work. Yeah. So she's like, hey, the house is free. Let's come. And we literally drove. We stayed for 2 nights. She made us like this big. We have this Greek dish called pasticcio, and it's kind of like lasagna, a little bit like that. Yeah. And we literally ate. She was like, I've never seen hungrier people ever. Like, and I was like, we just need to get away because so luckily. I'm close by. Yeah. I was the one that had the close by house. Yeah. So I just think after a while, after living with a lot of people, you just need your space. Yeah. It's hard.
It's hard, man.
But it's good. It's fun.
It's a good experience. It's such an eye-opening experience. Like when I've talked with people and say, universities, it's not useful. You just get in debt, whatever. I'm like, no, man,
No, it's the whole thing.
It's a whole thing. It's a whole, and you become such a different person.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
And you actually see like how differently people have been, like different morals. There's a lot of people you meet and you're like, I wouldn't do that.
Yes.
But you do, like, do you know what I mean? You see the different things
different
that people values and and I think you really see the difference in how people are brought up, and you realize, okay, you're my person, you're not my person. Like you learn that, and you also learn what you do like. In that sense,
and all the mistakes that you make.
You're gonna make mistakes. I think that's a given. Like you have to. Because if you don't, you just wasted like what, $9,000 a year.
yeah, for real. So how many years you went to uni? 3 years?
3 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't do a master's or anything. Just 3 years.
Yeah.
And then from there, I moved to London.
Okay. Straight away. Nice. Did you move by yourself?
So no, my best friend at the time. She was from London, and she lived with her. She had a flat with her mum.
Yeah.
And they had a spare room that they always rented. So she was like, "Come live with me," and she lives really central. And I moved. So luckily, I was able to move to a different city, but still felt like home because I had people I knew. And I lived there, and I got a job. So whilst I was at uni, I was still working random weekends because I was self-employed in Selfridges in London.
Where is that?
It's like, you know Harrods? Do you know Harrods? Yeah. So it's kind of like, it's the other one, it's Selfridges.
Oh, okay.
And it's like a big department store. And I worked at the Braid Bar, which, where my hairstyling kind of started. And I would just travel up on weekends sometimes here and there. Maybe like once or twice a month I'd go. So then when I moved to London, I just went full time. So I was working there full time whilst trying to pursue musical theatre.
Yeah.
Because that was the reason I say I moved. And I always wanted I like the city life. I like the busy life. Yeah. To like being somewhere that you can do whatever.
Infinite possibilities.
Yeah. I feel like Chichester was very small.
Yeah.
It wasn't a place. You had one bar that used to be a pub in the day. Like it wasn't even like a club.
Yeah.
Shout out to Best Street. So it's like not somewhere that you're gonna pursue your life.
Yeah.
For me personally.
No, of course.
Some people love it. It's a beautiful place. So yeah, London was, I think, for me on the bucket list. I had to do it.
How did you find the London scene when you started to look for a job in musical theatre? Was it challenging? Was it difficult? There was a lot of competition?
Huge. I think people don't realise the competition there is in musical theatre.
Okay.
They say, so when you audition for drama schools, they say it's as hard to get into Oxford and Cambridge because of the numbers of people that audition to get in.
Yeah.
Like say for example, my sister's studying the same thing. She's about to do her masters at a school called Central in London, which is really like well known.
Yeah.
Only 18 people get in a year, and so many people audition. So it's hard. Like, so imagine you're in this one school in a bubble. So I went to Chichester, but there's also 15 other schools, and then they all get released in London.
Yeah.
And you're all competing to get like a few spots. Do you know what I mean? So I think.
What do you think makes someone valuable to be accepted? Skills.
I don't think obviously talent.
Yeah.
I think talent is a big thing, but you have to be a nice person.
Okay.
I think the one thing people need to remember is like, you never know when you'll see that person again. So make sure you, like, when you act the way you act, you know what you're doing. Give it, like, leave that room and know you've done the best you can do as a person, let alone the talent. Do you know what I mean? Because the worst thing you could have is a really talented person that's just an asshole. Like, because you don't want to work with them again. Like, why? So I think personality is a big thing. Just kindness. When you walk in, like, as I thought a big thing is whenever you have an audition, because when you have auditions in musical theatre, you have a pianist and they play live music for you. Always thank the pianist.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't thank the pianist, in my head, I'm like, for me, I would judge that.
Yeah.
As someone that's been on a panel, I would judge if you haven't done that. So I think, cool, sing your song, be amazing at it, be the best you can, but say your thank you.
Be humble.
And be humble. And I think that makes the difference in being accepted and not being accepted. personally.
Okay.
That's my thing.
Okay.
But it's hard.
From all the people that you knew, from all the people that you knew in how you?
Chichester.
Chichester.
Chichester. It is a hard, isn't it? It's like a tongue twister.
How many people moved to London as well to pursue?
Quite a few, I'd say. Like a few people lived nearby.
Okay.
But the issue with London is it's expensive.
Yeah.
So I think what a lot of people did was they moved back home and then they would go forward for auditions. So whenever an audition would come up, they'd move there. But I think even now, a lot of people have moved since, obviously not in the first year, but if we're talking now, so I've been graduated like, nearly 5, 6 years or 4 years.
Yeah.
Can't do maths. People have moved up a lot more now.
Okay.
I think it is like the place to be if you want to pursue that.
Yeah.
But obviously we had COVID.
Yeah.
So then that kind of messed things up with people's plans, I'd say, and routines of what they wanted to do. So I think...
How did that affect you?
Oh, massively.
Yeah.
I moved out. Well, funny story. When COVID, you know when like it was like we're going to go into lockdown, the first thing, I was like, okay, 2 weeks.
Yeah,
nothing. I literally packed like I literally didn't even pack a actual bag. I think I bought 2 trousers, like 2 pieces of underwear, no makeup or anything. Like I didn't bring anything, and I moved back home. Little did I know that, like, I moved back home 6 months altogether, and I had the tiniest little backpack, and I was like, I can't survive.
Couldn't you drive back to London?
So when the first bits of lockdown, like some of the rules changed and stuff, I moved back and I took some stuff home. But during that time, my mum got ill during lockdown. So it was we were very secluded. So when everyone was going out, it was very much like we started to stay in, because if she caught anything, it was really like bad for her. So that's why I stayed at home for so longer, because my mum did get ill, and then it was like you can be in a bubble and then you can't be in a bubble, and like so things like that. We just thought just be safe and just stay in. Oh wow. So then the business I was working for, the braid bar, shut down. Yeah. So then in my head I was like, okay, I've got no job. Yeah. So it was just the best decision to move back home, I think. So then I moved back home, and that's when I was like, what do I do? Like, what do I do now? Yeah. Like, all theatres were shut. Auditions weren't happening. Yeah. So it was really difficult to be like, okay, I can't do any musical theatre here. Like, what is there really? We're really lucky in Southampton we have the Mayflower. Yeah. But again, as a performer, that's not going to give me a job. Yeah. So I think it gave me time to like understand what I wanted and who I was in lockdown, I'd say. Yeah. Because it was the first time where I was just like with my own thoughts, like in my own room and not with people. Like I said, I'm a people person. Yeah. So suddenly being at home 24/7, I had to do something, and I guess thought of me for the first time. Do you know what I mean? And realized what I like, what I don't like, what I want to do, how I like to experience things and things like that. That's the thing that no one really expected, being sat down with themselves. Yeah, with your own thoughts. Had to deal with all those shadows. It made you really like, I don't know, go into your deepest, darkest thoughts, I guess. Because it just, you had nothing else to do. Like for me, there was nothing. Like from being so busy, I think that's where I struggled. I was so busy, like I was out, seeing these friends, doing this, doing that, having this, okay, I'm going to do this, these goals. And then you get locked away and you're like, oh. And you know, a big lesson from that is that in certain industries, you get so busy, and it's good because you're doing what you're doing, you're doing what you love, but then you're also losing yourself in between. Yeah. And I think back before COVID, we didn't realize much about that. But then I think COVID taught us like it's okay to have a break. Yeah, exactly. And it's okay to like, I think people before like even like workaholics, people that work 24/7, it's actually made them realize, okay, no, actually I've got 2 days off here and I'm going to take those 2 days off, or I've now finished work and that is it. I think it made you realize actually my own mental stability is really important.
It is.
And even spending time with your family or spending time with your partner or something, like that's as important as that. And I think it gave you that time, or even just spending time with yourself.
Yeah.
For me personally, lockdown taught me so much about myself. And I feel like the person I am today, the things I like, don't like, and what I do is all because of lockdown.
Yeah.
Personally, I just feel like I was a people pleaser before.
Okay.
And now I'm like, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to do it. Do you know what I mean?
And it's something that you realize in your own space.
Yeah.
Wow. And also because you said you had to stay at home because of your mom, I guess that drastically impacted your mental health as well.
Yeah, I think especially like after the third lockdown, we had 3. Even because for me and my sister, our like highlight of our year is to go back to Greece. So I go like maybe 2-3 times a year, but our summer we'd spend 1 to 2 months each year in Greece. So my like motivation in my year is like, it's fine, I'm going to Greece. Like, okay, 3 more months to Greece.
I can disconnect. Yeah.
That was like it. So it was the first year in my whole life that I didn't go to Greece that summer. And because I have, obviously, like I feel like I live like 2 lives, like my Greece life and my English life. Like they were all out doing their things. England's out doing their things. And we were just like in.
Yeah.
So I think, mentally I was just like, we need to do something about this because I'm like dying inside a little bit. But I feel like you can't complain.
Yeah.
Like I was grateful. I was really happy. I was with my family. So like there's like pros to it. I feel like it made me realize there are pros and cons to everything. And you've always got to see the bright side to everything. Because I feel like if you sit and dwell about the negative, you're going to live miserably. Like you will. Like you need to just think, okay, what am I gaining from this? What's the good thing? And focus on that. And it'll be easier to actually push that to get through that. Do you know what I mean?
Everything's a lesson, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
What about family dynamics? Because I felt like me personally, I learned a lot. Well, I was living with my sister, but I know many people who had to stay at home with their parents and they got to see those dynamics that maybe they weren't that seen before. Yeah.
I obviously, because I moved back home, so from moving out for 4 years to move back home, I really struggled at first.
Yeah.
Because it was like where are you going? What are you doing? I didn't have my own space as much. But it was weird because literally just like the month before lockdown, my godbrother and his girlfriend moved to the UK and they were staying at our house. So we were in lockdown with 6 people in the house. 6 people, 2 dogs and a cat.
Oosh.
It was like a zoo in there. It's crazy.
Literally.
So there was pros and cons again to that.
Yeah.
Because when like say New Year's Eve, when we spent New Year's Eve in lockdown, we had a whole household. Like we had a party ourselves. At night we would play this game called Ditsu, like in Greek we play Ditsu. And like we could do that, and I feel like it was fun because we had the people at home. But then the cons is like if you want just some space, you can't really have that.
True.
Everyone's in everyone's ways.
True.
My sleeping pattern was messed up. Like at 3-4 a.m. everyone was still up. Like, so I'm lucky that my parents are night owls as well. They would stay up quite late. Like, I feel like I have a very, very close relationship with my parents.
Good. And
my sister. So there wasn't any clashes like that. Like we're very good in like, I had an argument, I'm having a go at you, but then in 2 seconds, like, do you want to go to Starbucks? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, man. I'm the same.
Me and my sister are like hating each other, literally shouting at each other, and then be like, oh, do you want to go and get a coffee? Like, yeah, sure.
Yeah. You go to the room, I'm hungry, actually.
That's literally me and my sister. I'm like that, literally like that. We're literally tearing each other's heads out, but then best friends.
Nice.
So it was good dynamics, but
yeah,
obviously after a while, freaking annoying.
How was it to being raised here, even though you are Greek?
Hard.
Hard?
Yeah, but I think I got pros out of it as well. Like hard if I needed help with my like English homework. I remember once being at school and they were like, okay, your homework for today is to write down a conversation that you can have with your parents that we then have to write an essay on or something. I can't do that. Like, I don't speak English at home.
Yeah.
So I found that it was hard. And I think I grew up in an area where we were the only foreign people.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone else was English.
Yeah.
And we were known as the foreigners.
Yeah.
So I think I was made to feel embarrassed, I guess.
Feeling out of it.
Yeah, like I remember, this is so horrible and I'm really sorry, Mum. I would be like, after this line, we don't speak Greek. When we used to go to work, when we used to go to school, like we can't speak Greek at this because I'm like, everyone's going to look at us.
Oh, wow.
And I think about it now and I'm like, how was I thinking like that? Like now I'm known as the girl that doesn't shut up about I'm Greek. I'm so patriotic. I'm so in love with my culture and who I am. Back then, that's how I was made to feel because of the people around me.
Did you live in a posh neighbor? Or was
it was quite like, well, like it was lovely. Yeah. It was a very nice area. The kind of area you let your door open and you weren't scared. You could leave your door open all day. No one's going to come rob you. Do you know what I mean? It was a really small little, like everyone knew everyone. And I think that's why. I feel like now, like moving to central Southampton, for example, like it's not like that as much. I don't feel like that. But, and again, when I went to secondary school, it changed because it was more like multicultural and things like that. But my infant and junior school was I was the only black foreigner. I was known as the girl with the long name.
Oh, wow.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I found that was hard when it came to like education and school and friends and stuff. But it was really nice in the sense of I was the only person that would go away every summer and I'd come back tanned and like I had the best summer. Like so with that and my culture at home is Greek. Like our morals are Greek. The food we ate was always Greek. Was I the girl that had the weirdest food at lunch? Yes. Like I didn't have this ham sandwich and crisps. I had a full-on meal. So like I think there's good and bad, but it was hard at first, I'd say. But now I love it. Now I'm like, I'm Greek.
No, and something that I realized is British culture is a strong culture.
Yeah.
It's really strong.
Yeah.
I didn't know that before I moved here. And when I came here, I went to college, as I told you. I was quite impressed and how immigrant kids will have to adapt so drastically. You have to become...
You must have found it hard.
Yeah. Back in college, I didn't have many friends. I had a few, and they were all foreigners.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and but to be honest, I was 18, so I don't know. I was in a different mindset probably because all the teenage years where you worry so much about, am I popular? Am I not?
Yeah.
It wasn't there anymore. So I was just doing my thing, and I was working as well. So completely different words, I guess. Yeah. But no, I realized, I was like, okay.
Because when you're used to that culture, it's so hard to get into it.
Yeah.
You do feel like, oh, is this normal? Like, is this not normal? So I get that.
Yeah. Something that, well, I guess most cultures are really strong, but some are more welcoming, I guess. British culture, I'm not sure if it's so welcoming with... I don't know, people with an accent or people with different social norms.
It depends where. I think also I find depends where you live. Like when I was in London, 80% of the staff members were foreign.
Okay.
So like it depends which part of the UK I think you live. Like for me, where I grew up, it was very abnormal.
Yeah.
And then when you go to other cities, you're like, okay, actually, like I'm not the only person that looks like me or speaks like me. I do think there's really beautiful things and good. This is as someone that's grown up in the UK. There are some really amazing. I don't want to say it's not habits, but just like things that like as a culture, I think when your friend is your friend, they're very loyal. I find they're very like British people are very loyal. This is as I'm saying as a foreigner that lived in a random neighborhood. Our neighbors were so lovely, and I think it's very hard to come from suddenly growing up from a different culture to come to something so different.
Yeah.
When for me, I have the mixture of both. So I've seen it all and been able to choose what I like, I think, from each thing.
In my case, I was born in Colombia, but then I was raised in Spain. There's pretty big different cultures.
Okay.
So my parents, I remember my mother.
Are your parents both Colombian?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they will, my father, not that much because my parents had 10-year difference.
Yeah.
So my,
wow. I love that.
My mommy was 32 when they came to Spain and my father was 22.
So your mum's older than your, I love that because I'm older than my boyfriend.
Yeah.
So it's quite nice to see the difference. Yeah.
And imagine my father, 22, and he had me.
Wow.
He had me. So for my father, it was a completely different experience because my mom was already an adult. Her whole personality was already established.
Yeah.
So it's quite different to adapt to a new culture. But my father, because he was younger, still finding himself and that. Yeah, his accent has even changed after how long have you been there? Like 26 years? Yeah.
Yeah.
So his accent is not fully Colombian. It's like a mixture of Spanish accent and Colombian.
Yeah.
My mom still Colombian.
Strong.
But some words she has adapted to her because obviously you need to get along, no?
Yeah.
And then like people would think that Spanish culture, no, like it's a big difference. With so many countries that speak the same language, but completely different.
It's like Cyprus and Greece.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah.
Like we speak the same language, but like if they're in their dialect, I can't understand a word of Cypriot.
Yeah.
So even though we're similar, we're very different.
Yeah.
So it's probably the same.
Yeah, exactly.
And do you go back often? Like do you go more like say you say I go home, do you go to Spain or do you go to Colombia?
So Spain, just because it's closer.
Yeah. True.
I've been to Colombia many times, but yeah, it's just way
long.
Yeah. But no, I love, and when I was 18, I had the opportunity to go for a full summer, and I think that was the point where I reconnected with my roots. So for the first time, I felt Colombian.
Yeah.
And that was before and after for me.
Yeah.
Because also I have like a spiritual awakening, so that was just before coming here. So I came, and I fell in love even more with my culture living here.
Yes. I really do agree with this because I have another friend who she's Cypriot, but she lives in Greece. She lives in London, sorry. And we were saying how I feel like as outsiders of our culture, of our country, I feel like I'm more passionate about my country being away from it than I think someone that lives there. Yeah. Someone that lives, like someone that's Greek. Yeah. Doesn't have such an obsession with Greece or the love. And I feel like now I'm out of it. And I think because it's like what you have, you love what you don't have. Yeah. You always want what you don't have.
Yeah, we kind of romanticize.
Yeah. But then I feel like, I think we said this earlier, but it's like, I feel foreign here, but then I also feel foreign in Greece. Not foreign, but like I feel like you can tell I've grown up in the UK. Yeah. And then I'm here, I'm like, you can tell I've grown up in a different country. Yeah. So then I think that's the balance of trying to figure out exactly who you are in those two cultures.
It's weird because you have the British accent, I have the Spanish accent. You here, you get along with everybody, you know the norms, you know everything. Same with me. But deep down, I don't feel Spanish.
Okay.
I guess you don't feel British.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Even if we have the passport and everything. No, it's like, where are you from?
Where are you from? I don't think I've ever said UK.
Yeah, exactly.
Ever.
I will always say I was born in Colombia, but I was raised in Spain.
Yeah.
So 50-50, I guess.
Yeah. But mine would be like, if I'm in Greece, where are you from? I'm from Greece, but I live in the UK. Yeah. That's kind of the thing I'd say. Yeah. It's hard.
It's hard. After COVID, how did you find getting back to the industry?
I didn't.
How come?
So I didn't actually get back into the industry. I took a different route. So during lockdown, I've always liked having my photo taken. Okay. And taking photos and appreciating an amazing outfit. And like, I've always been into fashion and that kind of stuff. So I was uploading on my Instagram. I really like uploading. And I got approached by a modeling agency on Instagram. And then signed with that agency, and like they were based in Birmingham. And then during that time, long story short, I actually changed agencies inside someone in Manchester because I preferred that one. And that's when I kind of like changed my career path, I'd say, where I was like, okay, I'm going to try the modeling industry rather than the musical theatre industry.
Was it hard to get in?
It's hard to start. For me, because I got scouted off Instagram, it wasn't hard to get in.
Okay.
Because they contacted me.
Yeah.
But then even if someone that didn't get scouted, you can just apply online.
Yeah.
But it's just more if they want you.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I was lucky I had the in, so I was signed. That's, I'd say, quite the hard part.
Yeah.
But then starting up properly. So imagine I got signed in January. My first paid shoot was June.
Ooh.
Yeah. So it's like...
And that's the usual.
Yeah, it's very normal. So when you start, you get signed with that agency. Obviously, the agency, they don't pay you.
Yeah.
But they take a cut. So they find you the jobs and they take a cut of the jobs.
Like a manager.
Yeah, like a man. Yeah. So you have to like build up a portfolio. So the way it works, so say for example, you're looking on an agency's page. It has all the different models, and then underneath the model, there's like their sizing and measurements.
Yeah.
And then it'll be loads of photos of them to show the versatility of like what kind of model they are, what they look like in specific things.
Yeah.
So you actually have to build that. Like that's a portfolio to do loads of photo shoots, a lot of free work. My agency was in Manchester.
Yeah.
So the amount of times my dad drove me to Manchester, bless him, 4-hour drive.
Shout out to
yes, shout out to my dad, my number one taxi driver. I owe you so many lifts. He would drive me to Manchester for like a 1-hour shoot, like literally be nothing. But like the good thing with those is I use them in my book. That's what we call them, the book.
Yeah.
So it took a while. But then once you start, you have that kind of a good base of a portfolio, which is good because it's all booked through your agency. So they give you like the good photographers and things like that.
Yeah.
That's when you then can start actually doing the work. So that's when I kind of was like, okay, I could do this as a career.
How is it the modeling industry as a plus size woman?
Model. I've actually felt more impact because the people are like, oh, I've got bad experiences, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I felt more empowered than I ever have.
Okay.
The reason because I've always loved the modelling industry in general, would love to be a model. Everyone says, oh, I'd love to be a model. For me, I have always been a curvy girl and I've never seen the representation. Like, only now are there brands that there's always a plus size section now.
Yeah.
Or there's a petite section or something. There was never that growing up. Like I never had that.
There's a petite section.
Yeah.
How do you know?
It's a petite section. So if you go like ASOS, they have a petite section. It's mainly for like if you're shorter. So then sometimes the amount of times I've bought trousers, like for me, these trousers, I've had to bring them up. Because like just things like that.
Yeah.
And then there's a plus size as well. Or there's even tall, or there's shape. There's different things now.
Okay.
Before, there was never that.
Nothing. No?
So I think as a plus size girl, it's really empowered me. And it's made me push more because I'm like, I want people to see the representation and I want to be the representation because I never had the representation.
Yeah.
And there's good and pros and cons because most jobs now always want a plus size, and there's less plus size models than classic models. So it gives you the opportunity to have jobs, but then sometimes some jobs might not want it. They might not want a plus size. So there's pros and cons to being a plus size model, but representation, that's like my main thing. So I do love it. It is good.
So you always were a plus size girl?
Always. Well, yeah, I feel like I've had an interesting like relationship with food mainly. And I think it's a Greek culture thing. Like I don't know if you have this at home too, but like they comment on your weight a lot when you're in Greece.
Yes.
Like your uncle sees you, oh, you've put on weight this time. Oh, you've lost weight. Oh, congratulations. Do you know what I mean? It's that kind of thing. And I feel like my relationship growing up, being in a Greek household has always made me curvier. I've always been curvy. So I think that's why for me, I was like, okay, this is the perfect thing to do because I'm representing who I am and what other girls are. The average girl isn't a size 8.
So that's a way to turn the situation around.
Yeah, and just be like, it's okay. Yeah. Like, it's normal. Do you know what I mean? So I think, I've always been...
Are you worried that in the future, if you, let's say, lose weight or change your whole body, will affect your...
My job.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm really lucky that as a plus size model, if I go bigger, because since I started modeling, I've put on weight.
Okay.
That's actually given me more jobs.
Yeah.
Because I'm more of like a stereotypical size, for plus size, for example. If I lose weight, that's still okay. Because I am in the plus category.
Okay.
I feel like if you're like say, Paris has a stigma of having only like really skinny models, let's say. Paris, like Paris Fashion Week.
Yeah.
It's a big stigma that they don't really have that many plus size models. Slowly they're evolving, but I'm saying if I was that size, it would be a lot harder for me to change my shape. So I think because I am more plus size, they've got more lenient with it.
Okay.
But I will say that the industry has changed a lot, and it's not as strict. It's not as you need to look like this and be like this. They love diversity. So I think if I lost all the weight now and was a size 8, for example, I think that's an issue. I can like the modeling. You're not modeling just because of your size. You're modeling because of your face, and personality, and what you bring into a camera. Yeah. The camera can read a lot. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's not just that. So I don't think there'd be issues, but obviously
you would just adapt to.
Yeah, might have to change agencies or something. That's not going to stop me from getting a job. Fingers crossed. We'll see.
Of course. And health-wise, are you worried that at some point it might affect you, or do you not worry at all?
No, I think for me, like, as long as you're healthy, you can be whatever size you want.
Okay.
So, like, for me, I'm still healthy, have my blood tests every year. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I think you should be whatever size you want to be. Look however you want to look. Just always look after your health. Yeah. Always look after your health. I think health is the number one thing. The moment there's an issue with your health, stop whatever you're doing and look out your health. Because at the end of the day, without that, there's nothing else. True. So I think that's why it's to show healthy representation, I'd say. Yeah.
So I have here that you got signed to a modeling agency in 2020. Your career started. And then there's a big point where you work for Astrid and Miyu.
Astrid and Miyu, yeah.
Okay, tell me a bit more about that.
So Astrid and Miyu is a jewellery brand. For me, it was like a big turnover point because when I worked in Selfridges, they have a pop-up. They have a store in like a section of Astrid and Miyu there. And I'm a big fan of jewellery. I love jewellery, everything jewellery. Yeah. So I would always look at the stuff and I loved the stuff. So then one day my agent emailed me and was like, I need a picture of your ears. So I was like, okay. Sure.
Okay.
Sent her the picture of the ears. And then anyway, got through to like another round, had to show a picture of me putting a necklace on and putting earrings on. So she was at the jobs for Astrid and Miyu and I was like, no way. So did the campaign shoot for that. So that was really cool. Went to the beach. It was in Camber Sands, which is a beautiful beach. We were having a heat wave at the time. Yeah. And I didn't know, when you do modeling, they never tell you like what to expect. You just turn up. They don't really tell you what you're going to be shooting, where you're going to be shooting exactly, where it's going to go. You kind of have an inkling of how big it will be by what you get paid. Yeah. But you don't really have an idea. So did the shoot, did everything. It was amazing. The team was so good. And then I think like 2 months later or a month later, I had a FaceTime call from like someone I knew that I hadn't spoken to in years. And I was like, why are you calling me? And he called me and just answered the phone on FaceTime and it was just me. Oh. And it was like a billboard in London. Yeah. In a store. And that's when I was like, oh,
holy shit.
Okay, this isn't. And then I remember I had a friend because
they never told you that they were.
No, so I knew that it was on the website. I knew it was on their Instagram, but I didn't realize because up to that time, all the shoots I'd done were like e-com, so like a lot of website stuff, Instagram content for the brand, but never in store. So they actually have a lot of stores. Like in London, they have 5 stores, I think. And what I didn't realize is they're worldwide. So then I had a friend, her brother lives in New York, or lived in New York then, with his girlfriend, and they went to the store in New York and saw me in the store there. So that's when I was like, okay, this is like not a small thing. For me. For other models, like it could be a daily thing. But for me in that moment, I was like, I've done something.
This can go.
And people are like, I'd have people message me like, I've just seen you here.
Wow.
Or I just saw this. Or like people would get an email, because it's quite a big jewelry brand. And right at the end of the email is my picture.
Wow.
So that was sent to every single person that's ever shopped. So that's when I was like, okay, this is crazy.
Shit.
Astrid and Miyu. For me, like that was like, I think more because I love the brand. That was my big thing, not just because it was there. I just love it. And the thought I got to work with them, I was like, wow, this is sick.
So as you keep progressing in your career, how do you deal with your ego? Do you keep humble? How would you define yourself?
I would say I'm very confident. And I love myself. In a very healthy way.
Good.
So I still have bad moments, and I still have moments where I'm looking at myself and I'm like, okay, I'm not my favorite. Do you know what I mean? But I have a healthy relationship where like I'm not like I'm the best bitch in the planet. Like I'm not, but I'm a bad bee at the same. Do you know what I mean? Like you've got to have that thing where like I still appreciate someone else's beauty, and still like you're stunning, and I'm not like I'm the best looking person. I've never thought that. So I think it's having that right balance of having enough confidence, especially being in the modeling industry. You're full of the most beautiful girls. It's so easy to either be like, oh, you're all shit, or it's so easy to go underneath and be like, why am I here? Like I'm not. So you've got to find the balance of like, I deserve to be here, and I deserve because I'm this person and I love myself here, and still be like, okay, how can I improve? How can I be better? So I'd say,
or how can I keep doing what I'm doing?
Just because I'm okay with myself.
Exactly.
I think that don't be arrogant. Because it's not attractive, and people aren't going to want to work with you again.
No.
But don't be too shy to the point where they're like, okay, we need someone a bit more confident. So you have the balance of being confident, but just being okay with who you are.
True. Completely agree. And the thing is that many people don't understand that confidence doesn't necessarily makes you arrogant. You say. It just makes you so aware of what you can bring to the table. That you are, this is me, and this is who I am, this is what I like, and that's it. I
think confidence is doing something and not hold. No, I don't have to explain it. Like knowing why you did that. I did it because I want that. Like not questioning, oh, are they going to think this, or are they going to think that? It doesn't matter. Like no one cares. It's like the gym freaks me out a little bit. Just like the weight section. But like in my head, I'm like, everyone's looking at you, But actually in reality, no one cares. No one gives a fuck. Like no one cares. And that's how you got to think in real life. No one cares. Like if you do that, do it and just stick to it.
And if someone cares, probably they're jealous. Or maybe or even they can admire you.
Yeah. I always think when someone's a dick, or rude or something, it's just jealous. It's jealousy.
Literally.
If they're giving you hell, it's a jealousy thing.
And you know what's the funniest thing? The most egocentrical people are the most jealous most of the times, because they are always comparing themselves. That's why they feel they're better than somebody else.
I think there's a good healthy balance. Like say some people hate Instagram because they'll scroll and they'll be like, it's so toxic. Or I don't look like that, blah, blah, blah. But you've got to find the right balance of like admiring something and wanting the best for you. So like say I see a girl, cool, she might be size 8. In my eyes, I don't look like her. But like that's okay. Like you have to have that relationship where like it's okay to see someone and admire their beauty. And be like, okay, actually, I want a picture like that. That's how you've got to view it.
I guess I like her makeup.
It's so easy, especially as a woman, as a lot of girls I know don't like it, it's so toxic. They're seeing everyone's, I mean, don't get me wrong, a lot of Instagram's fake. Like, I show my best on Instagram. The day I'm crying, I won't post it. But it's just like, it's okay. It's just seeing it and still being okay with yourself and not comparing, just admire and be happy for that person, I'd say. But that's a big thing.
Yeah. Completely agree. But also toxic in which way? Because as a man, what do I find toxic on Insta? I'm thinking, no? I mean, in my feed, I don't see like guys without shirts and stuff.
Okay,
But
yeah.
I know some guys because they do gym
Yeah,
stuff.
they do stuff, yeah.
They see, but I don't know. I mean,
I think it's a guy thing. You guys might not get it.
maybe, I don't know.
I think as a woman,
Some guys compare themselves.
oh
don't get me
yeah,
wrong.
and it's very natural
Yeah.
to. Anyone will.
Yeah, exactly.
My grandma will compare herself to. Do you know what I mean? That's not the point. But I think as a woman, especially our age, there is a stereotype that you. I feel like we can't get it right. Like
Yeah.
if you're not wearing makeup, you're not making effort. If you're wearing makeup, it's too much makeup, you're fake.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you don't look like this, if you're too skinny, they don't like it, but you need to have some curves. But if you have curves, you're then called fat. So I think that's why with girls, we struggle, because then you see all this perfection on Instagram and it's like, but I don't look like that. I don't eat, my morning breakfast bowl does not look this perfect as your one that you've just posted.
Yeah.
My coffee doesn't have the great love heart that you've, do you know what I mean? My coffee looks like shit.
Yeah.
It looks brown like shit. Like, so I think that's where women's brains are like, I don't look like that. I don't do that. And we're like, we want to be this person that we're not, because society has told us to be like that.
Yeah, I feel like indoctrination has taught you to not make many mistakes.
Yeah.
You are not allowed to make.
You can't show the imperfection.
Exactly.
Don't show, like, why are you editing out this? Why are you editing out this?
Yeah.
Like no. Like, for example, I've got this new freaking like scar on my arm.
Yeah.
Okay. In my head, I'm like, should I edit that on my picture? And I'm like, no. Like, and it's as little as this, or like cellulite on your thigh, or a spot on your face.
Yeah.
Every single person has spots.
I mean, I've edited some spots.
That's not, and that's what I'm saying. I feel like society is very natural to do that.
Yeah.
Society has made us
Show
do
your
that.
best, no?
Yeah.
But to what point?
Yes.
That's the thing.
Yes. Don't show something that's fake. Like, when I see you in real life, I want you to look like that. Cool, you might be having a bad day, but like, do you know what I mean?
You know, it's hard because you're talking from the modern industry point of view, but from the, for example, musicians or artists more point of view, the marketing is sometimes it's so strong. You need to show so many
different sides
and not that many imperfections, because you have to inspire people.
Yeah.
It's quite different, no? That for a singer or an actor, not so much, but for a singer, having to inspire people to actually follow you.
Because it's like, what's going to make that person carry on listening to you?
Yeah, exactly. People, because we've been indoctrinated, don't actually like to see imperfections.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. They don't like.
I think times are changing a little bit.
New generations.
The new generation like someone that's a bit crazy and shows the reality of like having a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
But I do think it is hard, especially as an artist. You've got to come up with all these new ideas and keep people there. And you're this perfect person, but in reality, you've just sat up till 5 a.m. trying to write a song or edit something or do something, and you haven't slept in 4 days.
literally. No, but at the same time, because let's think it. Like my theory is that people want to feel inspired by things that they don't have. So if we all live imperfect lives, the best way to sell something is to show perfection.
To show, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. But then people also like to see, this is as a girl though, so I don't know how it is, but like I like to follow someone because they're showing a reality that I also am experiencing. So it's like when something's relatable, that also catches someone's eye too. So you have like the two differences.
Yeah.
And that's why I think the people that show both, like an amazing life, but actually in reality you're also dealing with this, I think that, I don't want to say the word sells more because they're not a product, but at the end of the day, if they're on a feed, they are a product. People are going to want to do that.
True. And to what extent that part of you that is imperfect is completely real.
Yeah,
you know?
I know. That's why social media is fake. But yeah, no.
So bullshit.
It's true.
Mm.
It's so true.
Yeah.
Especially in this day and age. Everything's to do with social media.
I love TikTok. I love how to train the algorithm. I love that so many people are bringing so much more than what in the beginning was dances and pre-faces and whatever, no?
Yeah.
I love finding new niche and finding people actually doing content creation that looks like YouTube but in a short format, no? And but in the end, like I've been a fan, but now I understand a bit more of the industry. So now when I look at artists,
You don't see it as the reality.
I'm thinking marketing.
Okay, I know exactly what you mean because you know those videos where they're like, oh, you stop some people and, oh, guys, can you hear my song? Like, I'd love to get your approval. So before I'd be like, oh, that's such a good idea, blah, blah, blah. And then I got stopped like twice and it's so set up. And then I thought, oh, it's all fake. It's all just marketing.
Literally.
Like, it's not real.
Literally.
Or a lot of it's just, okay, you press play here. Even like now, even working with artists, it's all set up.
Yeah.
Nothing is, let me just sing a song for you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I get that.
And just imagine how nice are people, like people in the streets that actually stop and do what you say just to help them. I mean, come on. But no, completely like marketing.
So everything is lies. Actually, you can't believe anything these days.
No. After that job with Astrid and Miyu, what happened next? Did you get more opportunities?
So I carried on with. I actually got quite a few that summer.
Okay.
So that year happened, and then
that was 2020 or 2020?
No, so this Astrid and Miyu happened 2022.
Ah, okay, 2 years.
2 years ago, and then 2023. That was when I was like, I was like building up a few jobs here and there, and that summer, I don't know what happened. I think it was because I also put on a bit of weight, so I got into like a different section of the plus size, if that makes sense. I got back to back a few quite good brands. I worked with Charlotte Tilbury, which is a really good makeup brand. We have it. If you're a girl, you know Charlotte Tilbury. He's like, if you're a girl, you'd be like, what? So for me, that was like a dream makeup brand. I then worked with, there was a girl in Love Island called Montana, and she has her own swimwear brand. And I was like, if you go on the website, it's just me. And that was like, for me, quite cool. Again, mainly because not because they're a big brand, she's quite a small brand, but it's more of, I love the brand. So the fact I got to model with it. And then for me, the highlight was probably JD. So I did a casting and thought, okay, this is, you know, when you think your gut is like, okay, you have a chance. That was my thought. I was like, just do it. I don't know why, like always trust your gut. And for me, when I saw the JD thing, I was like, this is big for me personally. JD is a worldwide brand. Like, I have to do it. And I don't know why, when I got the casting through, I was like, you have to go. My gut was just telling me. So I went, did the casting, and then everything in modeling is so last minute. Like, so last minute. Okay. So the casting's there, and then imagine the day after. The day after? Yeah, the day after you kind of find out, okay, do they like you? Do they not like you? And then imagine the Tuesday night is technically the day if I was getting the job, I have to travel to Oxford because we were doing it in Oxford. Okay. I found out Monday night I had the job. Ooh. So it's like the casting happened the Friday before, I think, or the Monday before, that week before, and the week after was the job. So that's why it's really hard to have a 9-to-5 job. Yeah. Because it's just like, hey, next Tuesday be free.
And you need to be available.
Tomorrow you have a casting. And the JD casting I found out 2 days before.
Would you say that many people that work in the industry are Nepo kids?
What does that mean?
Mom's kids that from rich dad's parents. Sorry.
Okay. No.
No.
Some, but there's some that always have a high side job. Like everyone is working and running, and like my sister, who's again in the musical theatre industry, she purposely got a job that she has let them know if I need to go tomorrow, I have to go tomorrow. Like, they know.
Oh, wow.
They're like, if I have an audition tomorrow, I need someone to cover me.
Is that possible?
Well, apparently a tortilla. They do that.
Oh, wow. Shout out to tortilla.
Shout out to tortilla.
You know,
she did say.
You don't know what to apply because damn. Imagine.
Shout out to tortilla. But no, she was like, I'm in the musical theatre industry and I have auditions. And she was like, and one day she was like, I have an audition tomorrow. Can someone cover me? It was like that. That's why for me, I work weekends because then I know in the day, like in the week, I'm free. I'm a dance teacher as well, so I teach dance, but like my main income is weekends. So then I know in the week if I need something, I can just get cover for dance.
Nice.
So yeah, anyway, then I got the job. And that was really cool. We went to this like amazing mansion that they had hired. So it was a pink soda campaign. So pink soda is another brand that did a collab with JD.
Okay.
And got to meet the whole JD team. Like any JD ads you see, they shot it. So that was really cool. And I got to like ask questions like, what was the coolest shoot you've done, or what's really annoying, blah, blah, blah. And then that was like a worldwide campaign. So that was really cool. I never saw it in store because pink soda itself is only sold in specific JD stores. So I was never able to actually see it, which is really sad. But I had people be like, oh, I just saw you on this, or I just saw you there again. But just that, again, the name, for me, that was what.
Yeah, and the curriculum, no? As well.
It was really cool, and the whole team was amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was like, tick. No,
I'm impressed with what you said about that most models have a side job.
Yeah.
So how do you make it? How do you actually live full time?
So because there are full-time models, don't get me wrong.
Okay.
There are a lot of full-time models.
But they still have a side job.
No.
Okay.
Well, kind of. Influencing and Instagram is a big job with modeling.
Okay.
So like when a client books you, they've already seen your Instagram. My Instagram's my CV.
Yeah.
Like, it's very important what I post. I've got to show different sides to me. Because if someone's booking me, the social media team would have already checked out to see exactly what I look like in reality, not just my portfolio. So a lot of models, like, for example, now for me, I do a lot of social media work with brands. That's kind of like that side hustle kind of thing. If you're a full-time model, the way you would make it is if you have regular clients. So a lot of regular clients would be fast fashion. So like Pretty Little Thing, ASOS.
H&M.
Oh yeah, they bring out, not as much H&M.
Okay.
But it's more the online quick clothing where every day they've uploaded new clothes.
So they need models.
So they have like regular work. They might be in ASOS HQ 2 times a week. That's a set job technically.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Wow.
But if you're like, so for me, it's more one-offs because there are more campaigns. Like Astrid and Miyu, when I did it, for example, they're only like Pink Soda that I just did. They've not brought out a new brand, like new sportswear since then.
Yeah.
So it's more if you work for fast fashion as well, you're guaranteed jobs. So when you have regular clients, like there's a brand called Tala, which I love, sports brand. They bring out quite a lot of new clothes. Like quite so often, every other month or something, they've got a new collection. If you're a model and you're a regular model, you've got that job.
Yeah. Is it harder to get into fast fashion?
It's quite easy.
It's quite easy.
But it's just depends what you look like.
Okay.
Like, for example,
What they're looking for, I guess.
it's what they're looking for, yeah. And if you've got that, then it's easy. Fast fashion is anything like e-com. It's like e-com, I do a lot of e-com, but then it just depends on if your agency has those clients. So like, then if you've booked in with them, do they then want you back? You've got to be wanted back, and you've got to have the specific look to be in that.
But there's not like a standard. Like if I was to ask you, okay, what they looking on a guy, for example, or on a girl?
Well, it depends on the brand.
Okay.
But like, for example, I'm a plus size model, but I'm actually shorter than the average plus size model. Not shorter, but I'm like more to the petite side.
Yeah.
A lot of brands look for tall plus size models. So that's where like they'd want that kind of thing, or a girl with a specific look. I think it just depends, and depends what they're looking for in that moment. Each campaign's different. A girl with a specific body type in that moment, they want someone that shows off that than that. Some girl, they want a plus size girl with small boobs, and then they want a plus size girl with big boobs. Like it just depends on what the clothes are doing.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to tell.
So you don't necessarily need to be handsome or pretty. Or
No, you have to. I think
visually
you have to have something about
pleasing.
you. Yeah. I'm not saying I look at you like. I think modeling. People think modeling. You just have to be beautiful.
Yeah.
And it isn't just that. You have to have something, a feature about you, like that is appealing.
Yeah.
That you want to see. Say for example, there's a girl that was at my old agency. She had so many freckles. Her whole face was just freckles, and that was amazing. Like she looked gorgeous. Like. It doesn't. You don't have to look at the street and be like, "Oh, I'm a showstopper." Like people don't walk past me in the street and be like, "Oh, she's a model."
Yeah.
That's not how it is. That's why it's not just about the looks. It's about the aura you give. It's about the looks you might look in the camera. That the camera tells a lot different than what a reality does. I think. So I think it's not about you're pretty.
True. I have here that you were invited to a Dyson event.
Yes.
When was that?
In February. No. Yeah. Wait, what month is it?
June.
I think February.
Okay.
I don't know what day it is. February. So I'm a hairstylist for Dyson.
Yeah.
Dyson brought out a brand new product. They only in the hair department. Yeah. They only have 3 products. This is their 4th product they brought out.
And why Dyson? Because you work with them.
So I'd work with Dyson. I'm a Dyson hairstylist.
Yeah.
And it's called the Air Straight. Everyone go and buy it. Just £450. just cheap. And they basically
£400. That's
£450.
Damn. That's more expensive than a fucking vacuum.
Yeah. Jesus. And it's not even the cheapest thing we do.
Aye.
Yeah. Welcome to Dyson. Nice to meet you.
Well, yeah, I guess it's a good product.
It's because I think the way... God, I'm really selling my job here, aren't I? I really love my job.
I need a raise.
I think it's because they have... As a woman, you have specific needs. Like, I want to curl my hair, but I don't want to damage my hair.
Okay.
That's kind of impossible. That was the standard. So what Dyson basically came out to do was like, you can curl your hair and cause no heat damage.
Yeah.
So they basically got engineers and hairstylists, put them together and created a product. Hence why it's so expensive. So this product it looks like a hair straightener. So straighteners, for example, go up to about 210 degrees.
Yeah.
This only goes up to minimum 80 degrees, maximum 140. So you are able to straighten your hair from completely wet to completely dry.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's like the product, basically. I'm telling you, give me a raise. So basically, my manager sent us an email and was like, look, we have an opportunity to take 2 stylists to Paris. And I basically had to write out why I want to go, why I think I should go, blah, blah, blah. And then everyone had to vote. And all the managers basically voted who they should send. So they sent me and another 2 people, but from the actual HQ direct store. So I was the only person from any other store, basically, that went.
Oh, wow.
And
what did you write in your...
I literally wrote, I think I should go because I've got a lot of years of hairstyling.
Yeah.
So I think I've got over 10 years of hairstyling experience. Also, it is the whole event was like a marketing event. I'm into the influencing thing. I love social media and that kind of stuff. And I'm very into the current stuff. I feel like with my personality, I basically went, I'm the perfect fit. Like I was very like straightforward with it. And my manager had said that the head manager said I was the first person to reply after like 2 minutes. Like I was on it. I really wanted to go. And I'd never really been to Paris like that as well. So Paris has the biggest Dyson store in Europe.
Oh, okay.
So basically they flew us...
Is it a French company?
No, Dyson is actually British. James Dyson is British, yeah.
Okay.
But it's very a lot of the new products come out in America first. So I don't know why.
Why,
man? So yeah, I went to Paris and they basically did a massive launch of the product. Yeah. Influencers all around the world were invited, and we had 3 Parisian stylists, 3 British stylists, and that was the whole team for the whole launch. James Dyson was actually there, who owns Dyson, so that was quite cool.
How
And I
old
got
is
to meet, he's like 70 something. Yeah. But he like...
Does he look like 70 or...
I can't say. yeah, he does. Like, he's old, don't get me wrong. But he's still like on it. Like, he gave a whole speech and he was saying about it. So he's very into it, I guess. But he is a lot older, yeah.
Okay.
So that was really cool because for me, it just made me like, it opened my eyes to a lot. And just even being in Paris, it was Fashion Week.
Yeah.
So it was just like a dream come true.
Wow.
And it was really nice to actually be picked to go because it made me go, okay, like I'm doing something right, obviously.
How many days did you go?
I went 3 days, 2 nights. It was really quick.
Wow.
But like I had my hotel room had like the view of the Eiffel Tower. Like it was like a dream.
Amazing.
I kept going around like, bonjour, merci, merci, à tout à l'heure. It's the only thing I knew, and everyone was just laughing. I was like, à tout à l'heure. But yeah, I loved it. So good. And just being around everyone that's in like the creative kind of industry as well was really cool.
Yeah. I love Paris.
Have you been?
Yeah.
I love it.
It's cool. It's cool. They say it's expensive.
Yes.
People are quite rude.
Yes. Especially if you don't speak French.
Yes. But it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. After that, like any other memorable jobs that you have had recently, or that was the last one that you say, okay, that was really important?
I think any job is important. And I say that because say for example, I'm a dance teacher.
Yeah.
And at the moment I've been a part of a dance crew. You have to audition to get in. And it's really cool. Like I'm to dance with my friends and stuff. And for the first time this year, I'm actually, me and the little girl that owns the dance school, we're the choreographers now. And it's for me like that job, even though it's not that big for me, like I'm not gaining loads of money and stuff. For me, it's like, okay, like I've actually made that step up to be like, I'm now the choreographer of a crew with my friends. Like, do you know what I mean? So I think anything I'm doing at the moment, I'm trying to make it in the creative industry. Anything that I can push myself, that I'm seeing an improvement, is a benefit, any benefit. Even like social media wise, I'm starting to post a lot more. I'm trying to post a few videos and reels just to show my personality and actually speak on a video. I used to be really scared to be like, hey guys, so I'm just gonna do my mascara. Like,
because in a way you have to put on this character, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
So like I struggled a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, same.
But I think since doing it more, I actually had brands reach out to me. Do you know? So that's where it's like, okay, like
it's paying off.
Yeah, the work is paying off. So that's what they're saying with like being in the crew, choreographing the crew. Just posting and now posting and brands approaching. It's a very big difference. And it's nice to see that your work is being paid off. So that kind of things, yeah.
What drives you to still work, to be, how old are you?
26.
26. So still keep pushing.
I think, and it's hard in this day and age, but I think you should always do something you love. So the drive is, it's not the money. So even if I wasn't getting paid, I would still do what I'm doing right now. And I think that's the drive because I love being creative. I've never had an office job. I don't think I could ever have an office job because I'm just not that person.
Yeah.
I just want creativity and something to be like, okay, like, how can we make this different? What's going to make that person look at that and be like, yeah, that's so cool. Or make it look aesthetically pleasing or something.
Yes.
Without thinking, oh, how much am I going to get paid? Like, I want to be able to do that. And the bonus is you get paid. So I think the trick is do something you love. And I feel like you're never going to have to work a day in your life.
True.
And that's the drive.
Yeah, that's why they say, you will never get burned out of the amount of work. Or sometimes there's a lot of work.
I know.
A lot, man.
People don't realize. Like, me and my friends will like go out, say you had to take content. We'd have a full day, have like 5 outfits. Drive my car, stop one location. Go to another location, get changed in the car, other location. That's a full. It's hard to get nothing. I'm not getting paid for that.
No.
Like, and it's a lot more behind the scenes, especially as an artist. Like anything, just to get a song out. That's great. You're listening to that song, but you know how long that person's
How
taken.
many hours in the studio?
How many hours in the studio, the mixer and mastering, like everything is a whole process. So as long as you're okay with going through that process, you're doing it fine.
Yeah.
And I see it even in my parents that my dad studied and does what he wants.
Yeah.
What he studied for, he does now as a job, and he's thriving in that. My mum studies something completely random, works something random, and hates her job. So I think I see it with that, and I'm like, I don't want to end up with that person that is just working a 9 to 5 because the government is telling me to work a 9 to 5 to be able to live my life. I want to be able to do something that doesn't even feel like it, and oh my god, I'm getting paid for it.
True.
I think that's what the drive is. It's just like, it's not a job, which is a lot harder to say in this day and age because things are getting expensive. My meal deal is really getting expensive.
Oh man, it's getting crazy. Any other areas that you want to explore apart from all the things that you do already?
I think I want to go back to the musical theatre a little bit.
Okay.
Because I really miss it. But it's just hard. I think again, for that, I don't want to go into it like paid. Like I used to be fussed about, I want to be on the West End. Now it's just like, I just want to perform. And maybe even like singing. Like I really want to try and release some music. I think before I was always in the performing on stage. And lately I was introduced to actually recording studio, like being in there. I had the opportunity to try it and I'd never tried it. And it was a whole different experience. It's very different because like when you're on stage, you learn to perfect a song and then you go out and you have to sing it perfection. In the studio, you're like, oh, can I do that again? Can I redo that take? And I'm not used to that. I'm not used to that kind of stuff. So I think I want to try and venture out to the singing more and the performing rather than just like the social media and the modeling, I say.
What about, there's a lot of people looking for actors on, I was going to say doing short films because you said performing, but I guess acting is different, no?
It is, but actually the creative industry is so small. I found this with the modeling industry.
Okay.
It's so small that everyone does everything. So like even the guy that did the latest advert for IKEA, for example, you'd think he's an actor, but actually he's a model. Or the girl that just did something, say for example, for musical theatre, her background is acting too, so she'll be in that acting thing there. So like, it's all one. I don't know how to explain it. Cool, the modelling might be a little bit out of it, but still, when you do musical theatre, you're trained in singing, dancing, acting. Ariana Grande, she's musical theatre trained. She's not just singing trained.
All right.
Do you know what I mean? So Hugh Jackman, he's an actor. He's trained in musical theatre. So it's like, it's a full 360 thing.
They say that's where true actors become.
Yeah.
In the theatre.
Because also when even if you went and just trained in acting, you would still have to have dance classes and singing lessons. It's just like a given.
Yeah.
It's just a thing. I don't know why they do it, but like it helps, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, acting's always been my scariest, I'd say. Like if you made me do a monologue, I shit myself.
Yeah.
But if you made me sing a song or dance in front of you, I wouldn't be stressed. I don't know why I feel very vulnerable. Yeah. So that's just something I need to face, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
I find really inspiring that you are motivated to teach others, like in the dancing classes and that. Do you see yourself maybe doing that in the future at some point, like more as a teacher maybe? Let's say 10 years from now.
Teaching was my first job ever.
Okay.
So when I turned 16, I taught. So I've been teaching for a lot of years, and I think teaching at different dance schools made me realize what I like and what I don't like the ages and stuff. But I think it's made me realize that every day is a lesson, and you can teach anyone anything. So like I don't know if I see myself as like teaching full time, for example, but I see myself teaching life lessons from my experiences.
Okay.
Like my goal is to like inspire people like to be who they are and to be confident in who they are. But I think the way I like, because of my teaching background, I enjoy to like say, I don't know,
give a message
out, and I think that's what I want to use my platform for as well. But even like I'd love it in 10 years' time, people would book a ticket to come and hear me talk. Does that make sense?
Okay.
That kind of thing.
Okay. Would you write a book at some point?
I'd love to write a book, yeah.
Okay.
That kind of thing.
Okay.
So like I'm not teaching, I'm not like I am your teacher, but I'm teaching or
I want you to
showing or feel like
get something away from my experience.
So you've learned something from reading that.
Yeah.
Even if you've taken one thing away from that, my thing here is complete. And the way I see it is like sometimes, for example, like I'll post something and then I have someone message, or even like when I teach a dance lesson, again, I'm a plus size teacher, like I'm plus size. That's not as normal in the teaching industry. When you see a dancer, I have girls message me afterwards and be like, it was so inspiring to have you as my teacher, or to feel so confident in your own skin and look the way you look. Does that make like things like that? Yeah. Even for me, that's enough. That makes me go, okay, my job here is done. At least I've ever inspired one person. Then that's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the main lesson. Inspire.
Nice. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I'm a big family girl.
Okay.
So, married. I think I would like to have a family.
Yeah.
But at the same time, whatever I'm doing now, expand it.
Okay.
So I don't want to limit myself.
Yes.
I see myself still creating, just always creating. If by in that point I have a bigger platform to be able to use that platform more, that would probably be, that's the goal, to just like get branched out a bit more to be able to show what I have to show and create. Just create art. I love art. So I think the good thing, I guess, about doing this job is you can do it from home. You can do it wherever you want to do. So there's no set thing. So I can still focus on family life and focus on friends and what's around me, but still be able to do all that, I think. So there's no set, like, I want to have this and this. Yeah. But as I am the business, I guess. So, like, I just want to expand that.
Yeah. Cool, man. Cool. I feel like it was a good choice to bring you here because you have an interesting story. And I think, as you said, you have the ability, you are doing something that truly inspires people. Because I feel like a lot of people on social media, they sell shit, man.
Yeah.
Sorry, but you
it's
sell
true.
shit.
I get that.
What am I getting from seeing someone, okay, they're really handsome, pretty, but they don't do nothing, man.
Yeah.
They're literally not teaching me or not inspiring me. They're just showing me something that, okay, yeah, you're pretty, you're handsome, whatever.
But what have I gained from
exactly.
that? Yeah, no, I agree. And I think that's why people find it toxic, one. And that's why I try and steer away from that.
They find it toxic because they're comparing themselves.
Yes. Yeah.
There's nothing toxic on me showing how handsome.
But that's what I'm saying. It's more just showing like what you can't have or what they think or they're comparing or I'm doing like that. So that's why for me, I think is I want to be relatable. Yes. That's my biggest thing. Why is someone going to buy that? Or why is someone going to wear that? Or do that? Unless they're like, oh, actually, I really like that. Yeah. Why do they like that? Because they relate to it. Yeah. And that's the difference between, and this is what I always say, like, why is someone, cool, you're getting the follows. Sorry. You're getting the views, and this is where I'm really trying to push it. I'm getting the views, but then why is that person not following? So you want to make that person want to follow you because you're relatable, because you're selling reality. Yeah. Confidence, you're selling something. We need more people with values in this industry. Rather than just, I got paid this to show you this drink. Yeah, true. To finish up, if you had to give a message to a young girl, in your case, that wants to get into this industry or try even to get off her comfort zone because she feels scared or insecure, what would you tell them? I would say, trust yourself, trust your gut, and if you want to achieve something, you can. Anything is possible. I genuinely do believe that. But it was only possible if you just cut out any negativity you have around you, and you have to know who you are to be able to do that. If you don't know who you are and you don't love yourself, how are you going to let other people love you and accept you and take you? So I think, say if you want to get into that industry, if the modelling industry, know exactly who you are before you get into that industry. Because then whatever anyone says, it doesn't matter because you already know your values, your morals, who you are, how you are, kind of thing. I'd say that's the most important thing.
How some people would say, how do I get to know myself?
I'd say experiences. It's okay to like have a falling out with someone because then you realize it's like putting yourself in specific situations make you realize how you deal with situations. Spending a lot of time with yourself, doing things for you, doing things that make you happy.
Genuinely happy, even
just
if it's
genuinely, even
sitting down to watch.
Read a book. If you like reading a book, read the goddamn book because who's gonna stop you? Like why? And don't be a people pleaser because I used to be a people pleaser, and I'm like, yeah, that's fine. And now I've switched. If I don't like something, I'm going to tell you I didn't like that. Before I just keep my mouth shut. Just like be you and spend time with yourself to know who that is. Just have another lockdown, you'll be fine.
Go through a COVID.
Go through a COVID, you'll be fine.
No, beautiful. Well, we have a tradition here in the podcast, which is signing the poetry.
Oh, okay.
So if you could.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Oh, you're cool, man. Nice. I like it.
I like the green, not just the green.
Yes.
Okay, how do I sign this? Let me do it cool.
I always tell everybody to sign as the star, as the main character. You would say, if you have a signature as the main character. So.
There you go.
Beautiful. Nice. I like it. Excellent. Well, thank you for coming, Maria.
Thank you so much for having me.
I hope you enjoy it.
I did.
Hope you get inspired by her. And I'll see you in the next one. Please don't forget to subscribe, to give a like, to follow Maria in her social media, follow her work.
Yeah.
And I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.
Bye.
Cool, man. Cool. You know what's the biggest thing about this season? That I'm getting a new rhythm.
Yeah.
And I'm going faster than what I usually go. But I think I'm getting the hang of it.
I think, do you know what? I've been on one podcast before.
Okay.
And all they did, it felt like an interview.
Yeah.
When this didn't feel like an interview.
No?
No. Yes. It was good because you gave me you still asked me the questions. You went off what I was saying when before he had like specific questions he asked. When with you, for example, I spoke about something and then you might ask a question off that.
Yes.
And you gave me your experiences. Yeah. Like you gave me your opinion.
Yeah.
When the guy before was just like, okay, that's great. So blah, 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 blah. So like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like he didn't do what you did. Like it was good. Honestly.
Thank you.
As a guest, it was good.
Thank you.
I enjoyed it.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
It's okay. Am I taking this off?
Yes. Now, actually, that really gives me confidence to keep doing this because I have a vision, but you get feedbacks from so many people.
Yeah.
Okay. Some people find it too long. Some people find it whatever. And I'm like, okay, I get the feedback. It's constructive, but I have a vision.
Yeah.
As I said, I want people to, I don't know if I told you, but this project is about humanizing